I want to fall asleep lying next to the woman of my dreams. The next morning, she'll tell me I smile a lot in my sleep. But how could I not when I know when I awake, my fantasy will be lying right next to me? She'll ask me what I dreamed. I tell her tomorrow. She won't quite understand, so I'll ask her to travel with me 2 days from now, look back at yesterday, that way we will both be able to see tomorrow in her eyes. She'll, of course, need further clarification. So I tell her I see her, our seed. Courtship, engagement, then marriage. Burnt dinners, the entire first year, because like they say, pretty women don't cook. First, arguments. The closest I ever come to calling her a bitch, but then I think twice because we'll be in the kitchen and the knife she's standing next to makes me think it's in my best interest to change my mind. I see tomorrow in her eyes. In the beginning, not much money, no matter, her and I, our sole vocation. Our first house, cheap, small, ugly, run down, but ours. And how we're gonna make love for what seems like hours. We're gonna break in every room because we are broke. All we'll be able to afford are love-making staycations. All we'll have is a lumpy twin bed, each other in our imaginations. I see the silly little games we'll play, like we'll spin around in circles so we can get dizzy like we just got off a plane, and when I'm feeling truly exotic, I'll grab some dirt, throw it on the bed, and we can pretend like we're lounging on the sandy beaches of San Tropez. I see tomorrow in her eyes. I see the first pregnancy test that comes back positive, and how she tells me on a Sunday afternoon at 3:45 on my Niners from the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left and the game is tied that our baby wants a slice of the meringue pie. Now, even though we both know it's her, no matter. I slip on my shoes and pick up my keys because by that time we'll have DVR and I can listen to the game on 680 KNBR. Now, as I'm riding and listening to one of the greatest finishes in NFL history, I start to think that there's no way that I could possibly love another woman as much as I do her. But a few months later, she proves me wrong when she births my daughter, because the first time I hold my seed in my arms, the emotions within me will overflow and I'll begin to cry. I see our legacy in her eyes. That's why when we make love, I never ask her to scream my first name as long as she promises to take on my last. She says, I guess this means you love me, but tell me how much. And I do, that's why I need this queen to be my wife, but if she wants to know how much, I tell her to flip to Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church. So since she wants to know how much I love her, I stretch out my arms and I tell her this much. Meaning I would die for her. Now, I'm not a Bible thumper. That's not even some shit that I even aspire to be in because of pulpit pimps, hypocrites, backbiters, and gossip. The closest she'll ever get me to a church will be our wedding day. But I do know my scripture. My grandmother made sure of that. I know that God is love, agape, and Yahweh, the perfect representation thereof. And I was made in his image. Therefore, when you and RC look at me, I want to be the perfect representation of the letters Love. Now, I know we as men aren't supposed to talk about love, feelings, or emotions for fear of coming off soft, but fuck that. Telling my queen how much I love her will not make me less of a man. It'll just prove how sure of my manhood I truly am. Before I had true knowledge of self, I used to believe that jumping from woman to woman and bed to bed was the only way that a man could determine his worth. Only 5% of you will even understand what I'm trying to say, but what the fuck is the God without the earth? She will call me the music to her lyrics, but I will respectfully disagree because she is what will give our love song its heart, its soul, its spirit. I could give it its tempo, but without her sick flow, I'm just another whack instrumental. My love for her will be unconditional. There's nothing she could ever ask of me that I would not do. But I only have one request. I'm sick and tired of dreaming about tomorrow. Please wake me when I found you. Thank you.